a great joy greeting all our wonderful viewers. We look forward to this great opportunity. As a nation and a people, we want to enjoy the blessings and favor of God. In order for this to become a reality, we have to recognize the sovereignty of Jesus Christ as Lord and ruler over our nation. We don't want to be a religious nation, but a God-fearing people. We call upon our nation to honor God, knowing in doing so, God will also honor us. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 34, reminds us that righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. We take this opportunity also to remind you, please, continue to protect yourself and family. Coronavirus is real and is on the increase. We want to bring the curve down. It's too high. And so we need to work on it and bring it down. Observe the public health advisory. Wear a mask. Wash your hands and sanitize them. Also, social distancing. Life is a gift from God. It is precious. Hear it. Welcome. God bless you. And God continue to bless beautiful Guyana.
Today we want to speak the shalom of God over this nation. We've been saying time and time again that Guyana is destined for greatness. But this greatness will be realized even as the shalom of God comes over the nation. You know the word shalom, it's a Greek word, and many times a Jewish word, sorry, Hebrew word, many times we use that just to speak of peace. But shalom also speaks of harmony. It speaks of togetherness. Shalom speaks of wholeness, meaning that as a nation we are complete. We are not separated or segregated. It speaks about prosperity. Shalom speaks about the blessings of God. It speaks about the welfare of a people. So you could imagine that. It speaks about tranquility. And so the concept of shalom embodies so many things that a good community or a good country has. The thing is, we need every hand, or some people say all hands on deck, if we are going to really enjoy what God has given to us. I think it was Emile Durkheim, renowned sociologist, who coined the concept of division of labor, and that concept was really aimed at production and productivity, or production and efficiency, meaning that we found the skill set, or he found the skill set of the different ones, and so there was a blending of the skill set. So if you're a teacher, you teach. If you're a mechanic, you do the mechanic, rather than one man attempting to be Lord God and attempting to fix everything. That in itself will not allow for efficiency. It might allow for some production, but certainly not in the shortest possible time and cost effective. And therefore, I believe that as we engage and in those traits or characteristics of shalom, this country could really take off in a big way. But we need to not only see people with the skills, recognize them, but to put them to work so that the nation could really enjoy the benefits that God has given to us. I was looking at the national flag also, and the national flag this morning, I don't know what caused me to go there, but I was looking at those colors and the symbolism of the colors, and it tells us that as a nation, we are a rich people. What we need now is leadership that is transformational, leadership that is thinking broad-based, And I believe Guyana will be on its way to development. But we are not a hopeless nation. We're a nation filled with hope. Gentlemen.
I'd like you to repeat the definition of shalom: wholeness, well-being, prosperity. Give us some of those other bite-sized meanings.
Oh, yes, thank you, Bishop. So shalom speaks about completeness, meaning that as a people, and when we look at the Jewish community, when they practice this concept, they were now together. Completeness, you know, the scripture says, behold how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together. That's how they saw strength in themselves. Wholeness, completeness. It speaks of harmony. It speaks of harmony again. And all of those words, they're pointing to one thing, where people are operating as a community. They're operating in collaboration. And of course, it also speaks of tranquility. It speaks about empowering and releasing. And I tie that concept to Emile Durkheim's division of labor, because every man had his role, just like, you know, Nehemiah in rebuilding the wall. Once you perform your role at some point in time, the job will be complete at the shortest possible time with a degree of efficiency. Yeah.
I trust that, thank you very much, Dr. Marcel. I trust that in no small way would have contributed and helped us to understand that we have to repair the brokenness that we recently saw manifest in a very in disgusting ways in our nation. We must at all times choose wholeness over brokenness. We must at all times choose completeness over brokenness. We must at all times choose wholeness over divisiveness. And we should really seek, we have an opportunity again to build a shalom community in every village, in every hamlet, in every community, where we can feel proud of ourselves and we can again manifest that we would love our neighbors as ourselves. And it's a challenge, but it is quite possible, as little by little we work to build a nation that will bring not just honor and glory to God, but peace, safety, and prosperity to all of God's people in our land.
In every family, there is beauty and abundance in every family. There is beauty and abundance in every community. And by extension, there is beauty and abundance in every nation. But in order for us to actualize that beauty and that abundance, we need to tap in to the giftings and to the talents that God has given to each and every one of us. And as we work together to fulfill that shalom community that is so much needed, we need to listen to each other. We need to work together. So as we pool our resources together, as we pool our talents and our giftings together, I am sure that we will be able to realize that completeness, that wholeness. And as we build on that as a nation, I believe we will begin to see the strong traits that is needed not only for building, but for sustenance as we continue to grow and develop as a nation. So we must take responsibility. We must ensure, notwithstanding what is happening around, we need to realize that there is so much hope in us and around us, and let us tap in to that beauty and abundance that we want to see.
What is on the inside many times is manifested on the outside. And when we look at our actions, many times it gives a reflection on what is going on the inside. I get the impression sometimes that we seem to be troubled on the inside, molested on the inside, tormented on the inside, and consequently we demonstrate that publicly, and we seem to be able to set out to torment each other. Once we live in an environment like this, there's a concept of oneness or one flesh that must prevail among us. It helps us to recognize that my brother's joy becomes my joy. My brother's pain becomes my pain because we are in a shared relationship. We are in a shared environment. And there is where shalom becomes even more powerful, because in that kind of atmosphere, we will find the rest we are looking for, or some people say sleep. We'll find the wholeness, the completeness. And just look at your fingers and you'll understand what I talk when I speak about the wholeness and completeness of each joint supplying. You'll find a wellness and the ability to find healing. We will prosper under the concept when one chase 1,000, two will put 10,000 to flight. And in spite of the challenges that we face, there will still be that calmness, that ability, that understanding that we shall overcome. We will get over this, not as an individual, but we'll get over this together. And so I want to encourage that shalom begins on the inside, for it will surely manifest itself on the outside.
Kurt, could you make a comment on the importance of discipline as we transition and as we face head-on the challenges of the 21st century?
Discipline. What is discipline? Discipline requires us to obey the laws, to be obedient to whatever instruction whatever guidance was given, whatever instruction was done. Discipline. What is going on currently around the world in most countries? I would put it down to a lack of discipline. Just to keep it simple. With coronavirus, the pandemic that is raging right now, I'm reading and hearing so many stories about our countrymen still going out without a mask, still partying, still congregating. The country I'm living in right now, Switzerland, they also have coronavirus. We also have coronavirus here. But the deaths and the positive cases have decreased significantly. Why? Because of the word we just used, discipline. Instructions were given about how to behave, how to conduct yourself, and what will happen. And what happened? The citizens obeyed those instructions. Why? Because they trusted the authorities. The authorities were clear and concise, and the lives were saved. Why can it not occur in other countries? The word comes back to discipline. Instructions were given, the same instructions were given, but persons, for whatever reason, for their own belief, choose not to obey. They think, for whatever reason, that coronavirus cannot touch me. I will not be affected because of my race, because of my status, because I just don't trust the authorities. So who are we going to trust? Where are we going to go? Why do we elect authorities? Why do we have them and we do not obey them, nor do we trust them?
There are two types of discipline: imposed discipline and the discipline that you learn at home. Let us look at the imposed discipline. The imposed discipline has come from the military. If persons on the road doing otherwise, they're not thinking what the laws say, you would have to impose discipline on them. But what type of discipline would you put them under? Take them to court, the magistrate would let them off, beat them with a piece of whip, wasting time, because they're going to come back and do the same thing again. So it's just the mentality of certain persons or certain set of people. They love to do what is wrong all the time. No matter how you speak with them, they just die in their own ways. So with this coronavirus that's going around, you can't call it darling, love, honey, or sweetheart or anything. It's deadly. And it's only that we who know Jesus would have to keep spreading the word to help these people and even to help ourselves, we got to look forward and do what is best for us.
Shalom is a beautiful word. And I want to share two examples to kind of bring it home. If you build a fence, a lovely, beautiful fence, and the person who built the fence forgot to put in a brick or one of the bricks so that the fence is beautiful except for this space, that fence is said to be not in shalom because it's not complete. Or if you have a vehicle, that a beautiful high-end vehicle, and the vehicle has no doors. Somehow the vehicle does not have its doors on. That vehicle is said to be not in shalom. It's not complete. It's not whole. Now I want to tie that in with Guyana. The first example of the wall with the brick missing. That reminds me of community. The purpose of the wall, among other things, is for defense, protection. If there's a brick missing from it, you're not in shalom, you become vulnerable. You can be easily penetrated. It's a foothold for destruction of the wall. In our communities, for our communities to be in shalom, we have to ensure that our defenses are intact. And that goes back to discipline, to respect social distancing. And if we have activities in our communities, to look out one for the other so that our community would not be out of place in that we have persons congregating, not wearing masks, speaking in each other's face, and so now coronavirus becomes a likely possibility. We need our communities to return to a place of shalom. And then with the vehicle, I love how Reverend Hudson mentioned the flag. Our flag is unique, it's distinguished, it's beautiful, it's rich. That's why you see it in my background very often. But our nation could be described as a vehicle not in shalom, because we have open doors such as racism, such as injustice. And so the vehicle will still drive. We could still be going forward our merry way, but not in shalom, and we don't want that. We don't need that as a nation. We need a nation that has a vehicle going down the road in shalom. So let us put on the doors. Let us deal with the matters that need to be addressed so that we can move forward as a people in shalom. God bless you.
You know, the thing about community, as you mentioned, Joshua, the concept of community, it is so critical to, to what we are saying. I think it was, I heard a speech from Dr. Miles Monroe talking about neighborhoods into communities, communities into societies, societies into nation, and so on. But start from the family too. But I think what we need to tackle this problem, we have to tackle it community by community, because the concept of a community speaks about people having the same characteristics and attitudes. And as long as you have in any gathering of people where the views are not in congruence, the characteristics are not in congruence, it is not a community. It is a gathering, a grouping of people coming together. When you talk about community, it's a powerful concept. It's talking about love. There is no separation. There is no idolizing. The views, people are in congruence with their thinking, with their treatment, with their operation, the ideas, and so on. And so when we begin to have that, it means that how Joshua is thinking, Marcel is thinking, Anthony is thinking, and so on. So you then now could build on that. But as long as you have this divergence, it's not a community, it's a gathering. And I believe when we start to establish communities where the value system could be the same with every man, I think we will be on our way for transformation. Yes.
In order for us to have discipline, there must be devotion. Discipline and devotion must work together. We can try to discipline people, but if they're not devoted to a higher power, which is God, they wouldn't walk in discipline. So many times we instruct people to be disciplined, but they don't have any substance to keep them to walk in that discipline. Also, in order for us to manifest this shalom community, our minds must be managed well. If our minds are managed well, our life will be managed well. A peaceful mind is a productive mind. It starts with the mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. All right, so we want to encourage everyone in Guyana to seek the higher power, seek God, so that your mind can be transformed, so that our communities, our country can experience shalom.
You know, Jesus talked about division, and in division, there is no progress. A house divided against itself, a community divided against itself. In Guyana, we have a motto of one people, one nation, one destiny, which tells me that every citizen is valuable to the development and the building up of a country. And so when we have division, that's where people are not thinking alike. Pastor Hudson, you spoke about completeness and people coordinated and thinking alike. And so when people think alike, they can work together to accomplish a particular purpose. In Guyana, every citizen is valuable to the development of this nation. And so if we kill out, if we die, there will be no collaboration because we would not live to inherit the benefits. So we implore Guyanese to follow the instructions that is given to, because it is important for us as we work together as a nation. We will build, we will develop, we will be one. Jesus talks about, the word of God talks about oneness. Every part is valuable, every joint supplying. We'll have healing, we'll have togetherness. And so we'll be able to build a nation that every Guyanese, every family would benefit from what has been derived from the building of this nation.
I come back to the issue of discipline. And I think it's a very powerful point that was raised that we should spend a little bit more time in, because as I evaluate what is happening around us, it seems as if we have a very high level of indiscipline at the level of the self, of the person. I don't know if as a result of our concept of freedom or concept of being liberated, we somehow have fallen into a ditch where our strength has become our weakness, where we now feel that being liberated means you could do anything, anyhow, anytime, which in itself is slavery by itself. And so we need to put the spotlight a little bit more on how do I harness myself and bring myself back into control. I think it's Niven who made the observation of the power of God in helping us to deal with ourselves. And as a people, if we are going to go forward, we need to be much more self-disciplined than we are today.
Known that the highest form of discipline is self-discipline. The highest form of discipline is not the coercive discipline that Millie referred to when he referred to the military. But the highest form is not what comes from outside. It is self-discipline. And as we go from village to village, as we go to burial grounds, for example, in this country, we might be very well shocked with what is happening in terms of how we congregating in the streets and people's raw behavior. There's no way, locking people up, incarcerating them will solve that. Every human being must sit and think about this. It's the whole question of self-discipline. Now, in Region 5, remember, we are doing this by the time you see this, these numbers might have increased. As we record on Thursday, Region 5, 222 cases positive. Region 1, 114. I'm only going to call the big ones. Region 7, 169 persons have tested confirmed cases of coronavirus. Region 9, 164 cases of coronavirus. And yet in Region 4, as far as we can see, we are observing some of our countrymen behaving in a way that doesn't make us proud, but it creates an environment for the spread of this. So the appeal is to let's check ourselves. Don't wait on somebody to check you. Check yourself.
Self-discipline, the highest form of discipline is self-discipline. But how can we achieve that? If the father or the mother of the household is saying to the child, don't listen to that person, don't listen to that figure in authority, I know what is best for you. And that person is the mother or the father of the child. So how will we achieve self-discipline if the authoritarian figures are saying one thing and the other authoritarian figure in the home, which is closer to the child, is saying, do it like this, do it like that? How will we get forward?
But we are out of time. And as we practice self-discipline, we do so in an understanding that the entire environment has changed. I read recently that the economy declined at the midterm by 4%, which will have a negative effect on employment and all those associated issues. We must operate according to knowledge. We are pleading with you. Let us pull together. Let us, as Guyanese, pull together. Let us be disciplined to pull together. May God help us. May God bless you. May God bless this beautiful country. Until next week, we'll see you. God bless you.
I'm Celestia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.